situation may not necessarily be leaders in other situations. And I think this is something that we all experienced in our respective organisations, where those whom we thought we were going to rely on may not have actually stepped up to the mark, and others actually stepped in and provided that support. So post 4 September and 22 Feb, we've certainly become aware of a number of leaders and managers who reacted and behaved in a manner that was contrary to their past behaviour. While some leaders struggled in the new and challenging environment with many variables and limited resources, others came to the fore, stepped up to the mark, embraced responsibility and demonstrated leadership skills that had not been obvious or visible in the past. And this is something that I think we all find with interest, and it's probably a good opportunity to very quickly share a couple of stories. And I've asked Dan Coward. Dan's over there, Lyle, and Dan is going to share one of his stories of an example of a person that actually showed leadership skills that were not obvious prior to 22 Feb. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Joseph. In terms of one example, I have two main ones from a personal perspective and an organisational perspective. 2010, young executive nominee, a structural engineer with Arrow Construction, on the day of the earthquake provided some real critical leadership and advice to the fire service and urban search and rescue technicians that were working on the CTV site. It was essentially his leadership and decision and advice that provided a lot of guidance and response to the recovery of the people that occurred there, due to his knowledge of the building, construction and those sorts of things. So he stepped up in a real crisis situation and provided some really robust leadership and guidance to organisations that have really strong leadership anyway. The other one from an organisational perspective, which I think is really critical to understand as a world leader, is the Canterbury District Health Board. They are currently one of the 4 health systems in the world that the National Health System is actually monitoring and advising other countries to come to Canterbury and understand how integrated health systems and the processes and what the Canterbury District Health Board did post the earthquake and where they've got to now with their integrated electronic service care records, their process for integrated health, and how they're able to still achieve close to 94% of their KPIs in health service delivery for the government, despite other health boards in New Zealand failing to achieve even 90%. So I think those are two leadership examples that we have in Canterbury that deserve recognition.
Thank you, Dan. And Tom McBrearty, who's also got an example of team members who certainly stepped up to the mark, Tom, to keep systems and key systems running, systems that supported the emergency services.
Okay, I won't take too much time. Lyle's told me we're running behind time. Just to give you an example, our job is to monitor paging systems 24 hours a day. We operated inside the red zone right through out the crisis period. And there were 2 young gentlemen that we had in our place that were absolutely extraordinary. To keep alive, we had to make sure that a battery-operated system on Marley's Hill, up on Banks Peninsula, had to be accessed to make sure the batteries A hadn't fallen over and B, they were still wired in. Those guys took it on their own task and texted me and said, we're on our way. They went, they did it, they came back, and then they went around the fire service at Littleton. They also went to one in Kaiapoi and made sure that things were right there. And that's extraordinary. They weren't asked, they just did it. And I think a major change in our company is that we've changed from employing 20 people to employing 20 families. And it has made a major cultural difference in how we operate it. And I've really appreciated my staff. They've made a difference to me and made a difference to our company.
So some of the lessons that we certainly learnt from the experiences that we had or have had over the last 18 months, and some of these points have been already touched on. People and their welfare and well-being, taking care of our teams, understanding what some of their personal needs are. Andrew talked about ensuring that we put the oxygen mask on first before we attended to others, And as leaders and managers, we do need to be conscious of taking care of ourselves so that we can lead others in a time of crisis. Having a clear vision and communicating that well at a point of change and at the point that there is a change in direction and strategy for the organisation. Identifying the opportunity for change, seeing that silver lining in the dark cloud, and having the courage to actually take action. I think there's many occasions outside of crisis where we probably consider opportunities but don't have the courage or are not prepared to take on an element of risk to take a new pathway. Providing opportunity for the team to be involved in developing plans and implementing strategy, obviously that's can be time sensitive and there needs to be a balance there. Certainly can't make decisions by committee when you're in the middle of a crisis. Capability and having the right people with the right skills, core competencies required and the resources to support them. Retention is going to be an issue for all of us as the competitiveness in the marketplace heats up for good people, project managers and leaders and managers. It's something that we do need to be aware of and some initiatives that organisations can consider are around ensuring that there are good mentoring programs in place, professional development plans and pathways, and in particular career pathways to give confidence to your team members and your leaders that they are a valued part of your organisation and its future. As part of our restructuring, certainly went into it with the right intent, sound process and sound advice, and providing support to ensure that those who were part of our family were able to move on with integrity and were able to re-establish themselves with employment. Risk management is obviously a critical aspect, ensuring that decisions are well informed, but not deferring decisions to await further information, ensuring that we can make timely and sound decisions. And recognising and encouraging that leadership and those qualities that do come through in a time of crisis. And last but not least, celebrating success. We do need to be better at it. The resilience of leaders and teams, their inner strength, adaptability, ability to respond, provided the foundation for many organisations to initially survive, revive, and in time, hopefully all thrive. The opportunity for change and taking a new approach in times of adversity is to be embraced. It takes courage to set a new course, to push out beyond the comfort zone. It's not necessarily about just getting back to where we were or doing things how we used to do in the past. It's as much about forging a new pathway, creating opportunity and delivering positive outcomes. Organisations need to have effective frameworks and supportive processes in place to identify leadership talent and opportunity for professional development. This is essential both for retention and future succession planning. Having identified such talent, we can nurture and develop leadership through empowerment and building capability. Understanding our relevance in the market and aligning our business models and organisational structures to meet the needs of our clients and stakeholders is essential for long-term sustainability. To achieve such positive outcomes, we rely on our most valuable resource, our people. We must continue to invest in their professional development and provide them with the opportunity to grow, reach their full potential and succeed. We need to ensure we have the right people in the right places with the right skills and core competencies. NZIM Southern is certainly proud to be part of the rebuild of Christchurch and Canterbury. Thank you.